I just recorded about 20 minutes worth of I just recorded like 20 minutes talking about this movie and it didn't save, bro. Oh, okay, I guess maybe that's my punishment for being away for 5 months. So I'll take that. Oh my gosh, I'm so upset right now. The drama released earlier this month. I went to see it last week. If you don't know what the drama is, it is a film starring Zendaya and Robert Pattinson as a couple that is about to get married, and basically, a lot of things happen before they get married. It's directed by Kristoffer Borgli, same man who directed Dream Scenario, which I definitely watched when it first came out. I do remember liking it. I haven't watched it in a while. It would probably make for a good rewatch. Um, but I do remember liking it when I saw it, and I definitely like this film better than Dream Scenario. I'm gonna keep it spoiler free at the first half of this review, and then when I'm wrapping up, I'll get into spoilers. I think for as much as we're gonna see Zendaya and Robert Pattinson over the next few months and years, we got Dune coming out, we got the Odyssey, Spider-Man, Batman next year, and whatever else. Euphoria is currently out right now, which I need to check out for sure. I appreciate that they could do a movie like this that seems a lot more smaller scale, a lot more it feels more like an independent movie, even though its budget is $30 million. But I really do appreciate the simplicity of this movie. I think it's more in the characters that you meet, the way the story is told, how it's edited is super clean. I really appreciated how subjective the camera was throughout this film. You cut to shots of certain characters and moments and flashbacks of just kind of getting in the heads of certain characters. Your main through guy for this one is Robert Pattinson's character. His name is Charlie. Through his lens, you kind of get to see Zendaya in a certain light. Zendaya's name is it Emma? I believe her name was Emma in the film. So you kind of see Emma in specific light lenses throughout the movie. And it's the more once you get introduced to the main conflict of the film, and as that goes along, you kind of just see like a transformation in how he views her, how they both view each other, but definitely how he views her, because I feel like he's the main focus of the film. You definitely learn the most about Emma, but you learn it through Charlie. I appreciated how non-linear this film was. It definitely jumps all over the place. Where you meet Charlie is he's basically writing a speech for his wedding, and so through that speech, you just jump back and forth to how they met, first kiss, first date. A lot of cool things, and then he's talking with his friend, the actor that plays Mike. I really appreciated, seeing him in this. I feel like he normally does a really good job in whatever he's in. Alana Haim also in this movie was ridiculously infuriating for for the best reasons. The entire cast really did their thing. The actress that played young Zendaya too, she was actually really solid as well. And I hope that she definitely books some more things down the line. But yeah, that was definitely my main appeal for this movie was the editing, for sure. It looks great. The camera does a lot of very cool and interesting moves. Nothing too far-fetched, but it never really sits until it needs to, which I do appreciate. It's a lot of like cool zooms and pans, and the camera's moving. It feels alive, which I feel like for a movie like this that just progressively gets more chaotic, I think that it's really cool that the camera reflected that. But the editing for sure was one of my favorite parts of the movie. it definitely takes a lot of cool ideas. It shows you a lot of cool ideas without really outwardly telling you this is what this character is thinking, this is how this character feels. It really shows you through some very interesting visuals, which I definitely appreciated. Overall, I had a great time watching this movie. But if you did not enjoy it, definitely let me know why. Definitely let me know what you think could have been different. If you did enjoy it, let me know why. And so yeah, I definitely do want to get into slight spoilers before I wrap up really quickly. Yeah, I think once you get to the inciting incident and the main conflict of the story is basically, finding out that Zendaya's character, Emma, almost committed a school shooting as a child, as a teenager. I feel like that revelation is really what twists the movie completely. It goes from like this kind of like very romantic, very millennial ass like love story, to more of a very deep rooted character study of both Charlie and Emma. It begs you to ask a lot of questions. It makes you. I feel like the main lesson of this film is just like, everybody has skeletons in their closet. Everybody has things that they're trying to get away from, a past that they're not trying to confront, or just changes that they want to make. Everybody has something. It basically, and when it comes to dedicating your life, your romantic time and effort with somebody, it's definitely important to know one, to know who you're dealing with, and two, just know that honesty should be mutual, especially if this is somebody that you're planning on spending the rest of your life with. And so there was a lot of questions and a lot of thoughts that came to mind while I was watching this. Being a single man in 2026 is America, I definitely had a lot of thoughts going on in my head watching this. And I think to Emma's character, very interesting for Mr. Borgli to make her a young black woman be a school shooter, or have that school shooter image, because that's like completely opposite of the prototypical image that we have, or that's been shown to us throughout history of what these types of figures look like, what they symbolize. And so I was having this conversation with a friend about basically just wondering if there was a message to be had about school shootings itself, or is it just more so for shock value? Is the idea more around the fact that you don't know what people are thinking? Is it around gun violence in general? Is it trying to make a message about that? Or is it just the idea of like people have these, or either currently have or have had very crazy ideas, or very outlandish thoughts, and basically things that you'll never know about somebody, because everybody wears a mask when they're around other people. A lot of Freudian shit, I ain't gonna lie. It was very interesting. But overall, I do think that the movie does a really good job in presenting those thoughts at the forefront, and in a very simple way too. There's no crazy VFX and CGI, and like I said, the budget was 30 million, but I can maybe not guarantee, but I feel like a solid 3/4 of that went to the cast, more than likely. Let's just talk about real quick before we even the scene with Charlie and his coworker, that was that had to be one of the craziest moments I think I've ever, you know, been in a theater to watch. And I went to go see Uncut Gems in theaters, and good. No, I didn't see Good Time in theaters. I saw Uncut Gems in theaters. Of course, Robert Pattinson, he was in Good Time as well. He just likes these. He just seems like his agent, just wants him to pick these just very stressful ass movies. Even the Batman was stressful as hell too. I love that movie. But that scene in particular was just so like wow, like just. I not to even get into it too much. It's the way she like turned around and bent over. Like she was complete, like, bro, it was, yeah. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. That was wild. Like, that was very insane how quickly that happened and how ready she was, and then it kind of just stopped. It just great acting, and just direction and just I really enjoyed this movie. I should probably go see it again. You can tell that I like to induce stress upon myself with watching these movies. But it was a decently stressful movie to watch. Also, darkly comedic. I found myself laughing at moments that I felt like on second glance, I probably shouldn't have laughed at. Like everybody that I went to the theater with, we all had moments of shared laughter and then isolated laughter. Which was very cool. I loved how engaged the audience was, and I had a conversation with the older couple after I watched the movie. They were both just completely appalled at what they had just watched. And the husband was basically saying like, yeah, everything in that movie is representative of the parts of life that I want nothing to do with. And I was like, brother, my older white brother in Christ, I am in 100% agreement with you, because that movie was very messy, very, very messy indeed. And so I think overall, I think it's cool that a movie like this can perform well. It seems like it did double its budget. I don't know exactly what the box office is. I've seen 46, I've seen 68, or maybe not 60. I've seen anywhere between 40 to 70 mil, in that range. Maybe it's more at this point because it's been about 2 weeks since it's been out now. For a $30 million A24 movie, I think that's pretty good. That it definitely broke even from what if I'm doing the math correctly. Math was never my strongest suit. But yeah, I do like that in this time of with the rise of AI and all these franchises and reboots and all of that stuff, which I'm not completely against all of those things. AI for sure I'm against, at least with filmmaking, but reboots and the big franchises and whatnot, I feel like everything has its place. But for an original small scale story like this to do so well is very very uplifting, very encouraging for a filmmaker like myself. So yeah, let me know what you think. Let me save this project before I goof up again. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting this channel. Once again, if this is your first time on this channel, feel free to subscribe, like, comment if you like this film. If you didn't like this film, let me know why. I'm not a movie critic. I'm just a movie lover, and I want to be honest with how I feel with these movies. So at the end of the day, at the end of the day, I'm here to discuss these films with you, recommend these films or not. And so yeah, thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and until the next one, be safe. I will see you later. Peace.